What's up everyone? We are back with another live stream. So this time if I'm live, could you guys let me know in the live chat if you can hear me well, if the quality is good, and of course if I actually. As usual I can see Savas, welcome back. I've seen you've been active in the weekend on the Discord. Personally just haven't looked at the charts at all, but it does feel like these big moves that have been happening on Sunday night. I mean, got last Sunday and this Sunday. It's hard to take the weekends off at this point. No obvious trades in any case, so I don't think it really matters. But if I'm live, could anyone let me know in the live chat? Everything is good. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Jean-Pierre. So in this live stream, what we'll do, I guess, since the last one was a bit more messy, I'll go through my analysis, and if you guys have any questions, leave them in the live chat. When I'm done with my analysis, I'll go through the questions, and of course, if I don't see any questions, then we'll just end the live stream. So I guess let's get right into it. As usual, to understand where price is right now, we have to recap what happened pretty much since our last update on YouTube, which was when Bitcoin was around this high. We had seen the drop. Unfortunately, personally, I had missed this short, which was a very easy one, simply because I was not awake, I was asleep. But if anyone was awake, what confluence did we have at the highs? We had the 12-hour imbalance fill. As you can see, a perfect fill. We had a 1-hour imbalance at the highs. And as I said in my last update, we had a massively bearish sign, which was the point of control at the highs. So pretty much what happened from there, it was pretty predictable. We had the point of control, we had the imbalance, we had the 12-hour imbalance fill, and we just dropped to the downside from there. And as I said, if you lost this level, which was 86, no, I think it was this one, 87.5, that would be a big sign of weakness. We lost it, and of course, even if we saw a bounce, it was a sign of weakness, and price just lower. So that's pretty much what happened. Personally, as you know, I longed against our level, $82,000. I opened a short against $91,000, and again, I missed this one simply because I was sleeping. Super unfortunate. It was such an easy short. But again, I wasn't really offered any other opportunity simply because we pretty much had a quadruple top there. Pretty crazy. We didn't take out any liquidity. But that's usually honestly what happens in strong downtrends. You tend to leave a bit more liquidity to the upside to leave everyone on the sidelines. And guess what? I was left on the sidelines. In any case, with all of this out of the way, let's dive into the charts and what levels we have next. So I guess I can remove now. I can also remove our level at $82,000, and I would even this 80,500. So that would be my chart for now. Just be aware of the CME gap below us. I would not look at this as a support level. This is more of a reference point in my opinion. I'll explain why in a bit. But what do we have below us? So on the 4-hour, of course, we have two imbalances. We now get a third imbalance in a row. This candle still has 2 hours to close, so this could easily turn into an imbalance. I don't remember the last time that I saw 3 imbalances in a row that did not get filled. So this is a very important signal. Get another imbalance, then this could offer us a very nice reversal to the upside. But what levels we have below us? This candle does look interesting. Let me mark out the open and see if I have any confluence. Not much on the 1 hour, 30 minutes. Nice. I do see a balance there. 1600, and let's go on 15 minute as well. Same imbalance on the 15 minutes, so that's nice to see. Gives us, yes, $80,600. Can I find anything else interesting? Of course, it's a big psychological level, so I would also be aware of a drop below $80,000, for example, $79,000, and then you could see that bounce to the upside to get the fill of the 4-hour imbalances. So with that said, that's honestly, I mean, pretty quick analysis as usual. I keep it very simple. We do have a crucial area $80,000, $79,000. As I said, we have a nice balance down there. And we also have a 1 hour order block, and we have a psychological level at $80,000. Now, with that said, even though this level will be extremely important to hold as support, it will definitely not be as strong as the $82,000 that I shared last week, which was an extremely strong support level. In this case, even though this one is very important, it's a very important support level because if you lose it, we drop much, much lower in my opinion. It is not a very strong one. Just keep this in mind. If we do get the drop, I will have to see a pretty clean reaction in order to open a long position. So that's the only thing that I would look at to the downside. 8,600. We have a nice 30-minute imbalance. It's a psychological level. And could we get one more bounce higher, because I am seeing a lot of people on Twitter start to turn bearish right now. It would be nice, honestly. Plus, if I look at this, I mean, I'm willing to bet that thousands of people who are looking at this triangle, something like this. I'm not a triangle trader. I think patterns are pretty useless, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people were looking at this, got the breakdown, and everyone started to short, which is pretty much why you have imbalances. So this would fit well with an idea of getting that drop, take out possibly below $80,000, or simply hold our support level as support and then get that nice reversal to the upside. Of course, I would definitely mark out this imbalance 85.9, but as we have the daily open right above it, for now I would remove it. Of course, tomorrow I will add back this level on my chart. But pretty much that's what we have right now. We have a pretty obvious triangle. I'm pretty certain a lot of people were looking at it. A lot of people are turning bearish right now, and it would fit well again with an idea, drop, fake out below the triangle, and then get that nice bounce to the upside. So that would be the analysis to the downside. Okay, imbalances. I would like to see one more ideal candle. To the upside, what do we have? I think next week, if we do get a bounce, I will be very heavily focused on short positions because, as I shared before, let me update you quickly on the Elliott wave count. I think right now this count has become a bit more likely. 1, 2, 3, 5, and now we're in for a much bigger 2. I did say that this could be an extension, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, but right now I have to say, especially with the yen going up, this would be very important. Fix, my bad. So the yen, just keep an eye on the yen. If it keeps on moving higher, this will be a huge problem for the markets, including the stock market. So as long as this remains on going up, I want to remain high time frame bearish on Bitcoin. So probably size down on my long position and size up on my short positions. So this is something to keep in mind. To the upside, what do we have? Only level I can see. First of all, as I said, just mark out 85.9. I don't think we get the recovery and then we don't. Unlikely, but just keep in mind, mark this on your chart. Personally, I would be interested in this wick. Pretty big wick, I don't like it. Plus, we have a 1 hour imbalance. So around the midpoint, I think that this would be an interesting area to revisit for a short position. If we get that bounce, drop, bounce, section possibly, that would look nice. Something like this definitely on cards. But if we break above this, have again a quadruple top, so we have a lot of liquidity above these highs. I would like a squeeze higher towards $96,000. Now with that said, I know that if you go on the weekly, it is pretty hard to see a move towards $96,000 and then a dump. I don't think that this is the most likely scenario, but just keep it in mind. Personally, I don't like to base my low time frame levels, which is $96,000 in this case on the weekly chart, but just keep this in mind. It just seems a bit unlikely to get a big bounce and then what, a close maybe back at $89,000. So a green candle, a big wick, possible but unlikely. So I would say at this point, if we can get the bounce, definitely this would be level. So $89,000, $90,000. That would be So with that said, um, that would be my plan for the week, I think. One support area below us, forming the imbalances, as I said. Got the break, we got the breakdown of the triangle, big psychological level, and then we could get that bounce higher. And let's talk about Ethereum. I know a lot of people are interested in Ethereum. As I said in the Discord, I would not call for a bottom until we reach 1000, I mean at least 1888. I do believe that if Bitcoin drops further, this level will be broken easily, but at this point, even when we saw that bounce, I did say on the Discord if I can find it again. So right there, we had seen a bit of a bounce on Ethereum with a drop below $2,000. And what I said was that personally, I still wanted to see prices. So my view hasn't changed on Ethereum. I want to see lower prices. And actually, with that said, as we have a support level there, I do believe that this could pair up nicely with Bitcoin's idea, $80,000 on Bitcoin, 1.9 on Ethereum, and then get that small bounce to the upside, potentially take out this high, and then reverse lower. So something on Ethereum actually does line up pretty well with Bitcoin scenario. And yeah, pretty simple. We can look at other alts. Solana, it has finally broken our support level. Like this coin today. That's why I hide this area on XRP, but we have a pretty important 1.5 that reached, in my opinion. Litecoin, again, it does seem like it wants to drop lower. And finally, Link, which is the best coin, our support has been holding well as support. And right now, I would be looking towards $10. So that's quickly it for the altcoin and for my analysis. So let's do a quick recap. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, again, send them in the live chat. I would like to go through some questions if possible. Bitcoin recap, $1,000. Get that bounce. We get that reaction. This could offer a nice long position. First target would be the fill of the imbalances, so 85.9. If we can clear these imbalances, I would like to see $1,000. For now, just focus on these two levels. If we break $80,000, we will get the fill. I don't like to say we will get the fill because we have certainties in the market, but very high chance that we get the fill of the weekly imbalance down towards $9,000 pretty much. Simple levels, simple scenarios. Lose $80,000, I can tell you that we have a big problem. And if we get the fill of that CME, even if it offers support, personally, I will probably look for retracements or a drop lower. So that CME gap, I am not looking at it as a support level. I just keep it in mind to know that if we get the fill, then this would be a very bearish sign. If you remember, I predicted this low by saying that we would get a front channel gap, which worked out. But again, get the fill, expect lower prices. Okay, guys, so kept it pretty quick for the analysis. The Sunday night, I'm pretty tired, and as usual, I don't love to ramble on and on. So these are my levels. You know the levels below us, the levels above us, even higher, and you know the trades that person I'm looking for. So with that said, do you guys have any questions about maybe imbalances, levels, altcoins, anything? So down target is $80,000. Yes, definitely. Very unlikely that we don't get it. As usual, it doesn't mean that you want to short the drop. Bad idea, right? You want to open shorts after two imbalances have appeared. Usually not, but the chance that we don't reach $80,000 is low. Any other questions, guys, in the live chat? So I can't see any questions. Fortunate we had a bit more questions last live. But as I said, I just wanted to go through my analysis. I wanted to do a live in case you guys had any questions. And if you don't, then I think I will be done here. One last thing to note quickly is that I'm not a harmonic trader, so just take this with a grain of salt, but it does look like we have a certain harmonic. I think this would be a bat, right? XA with the C more than the A, the D higher than the X. The symmetry is not really bad. Ideally, the B would have been a bit higher, but this does look like a potential harmonic, which fits well with the idea of getting a bounce at $80. But again, I'm not a harmonic trader. This is not a very strong confluence, but just something that I noted pretty quickly. How do you calculate imbalances? Well, it's very simple. It's just calculated based on volume, right? I dive into this indicator in my courses, but basically, it's based on volume. It looks at past candles and gives you where imbalances appear. And the way I look at them is very simply pools of liquidity. So if you want access to this indicator and to my strategy, they're not yet available in our courses, but I will film more lessons on imbalances this month. So probably in the coming 2 weeks, I will film much more lessons on imbalances because I have so much to cover on this strategy. It's insanely strong. You guys have seen my predictions over and over again. So I'll film more courses, talk exactly through how it's calculated, why I chose this calculation, and of course give you access to it in our courses. So I would like to ask a lot of questions, but you're very clear. So okay, well, I mean at least that's nice to hear everything. But of course, if you have any questions, just don't be afraid to ask them, guys. So I think I'll give you 1 more minute when you comes on and has a question. But again, I will draw out my scenario for you. Drop. Can you get that bounce? This will be the big question. Lose that level, I can tell you we have a lot of trouble on a lot of trouble. You use fib levels. The only indicator I use honestly is balances. Uh, yeah, I don't really look at fib. The only time I look at Fibonacci is when I count Elliott wave. So if you remember, since you asked about fib, the reason that I gave $114,000 as a big short was because I had discount. And I think I uploaded this. I mean, you can go on YouTube and find the update, but I think it was uploaded somewhere around the 19th of January. I think that's when I uploaded the YouTube update with the Elliott wave count. And what I said while you had the big short at $114,000 was because, I mean, that's why I use fib, is just use Elliott waves. Take the wave 1 to the wave to the bottom of wave 4, which was right there. And we had the target, as you can see. What? Well, I forgot how. Oh yeah, that was it. Was not in log scale actually. But so you take the length of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 4, which was right there at the time, $90,000, and we had that target, as you can see, $114,000. So that's the only time that I do look at fib. I do also look at fib time sometimes. If you guys don't know how to use fib time, I also use it in confluence with with Elliott waves. You can see that it did time the bottom pretty well. This could be seen as a 5-wave, but this still counts as a nice fib. So only time I use fib is I use Fibonacci time and Fibonacci extensions. The reason that personally I don't love fib is simply because I like to trade psychology, and that's the logic behind my indicator. I mean, if the market reaches, for example, a 50% retracement, psychologically, at least in my opinion, there's no reason for me to open a long position, for example. If I don't see imbalances, if I don't see people shorting, it just makes no sense to look. I mean, I don't want to say it makes no sense because it is a strong indicator, But personally, the way I view the markets, I just don't think the fib retracements add any power to my analysis because there's no true psychology behind them. I mean, guess why we topped out right there? Is that because we hit certain fib level? No, it's because we had an imbalance at the highs, we had the point of control at the highs, and we had filled the 12-hour imbalance. Not a coincidence that my levels hit the dollar over and over again. Has nothing to do with fib. It's all about market psychology. If people are longing the high, you will get a job. If people are shorting the low, you will get a bounce. Pretty simple. So a bit of a rant on the Fibonacci. It's a strong indicator, guys. Don't hate on me, but I'm just telling you the way that I view the markets. Why usually I don't use any indicator. The only indicators that I use is the anchored VWAP. Remember, we gave you that high in the last live stream, and of course the volume profile, which I don't really view as an indicator even, but still. Do sub levels. Rico, what's up? I hope you're doing well. Okay, so that was it. Do you guys have any more questions? I think you do. So looking forward to your indicator and the perfect. I'll get it out very soon in the coming days to I'll try to get it out by before the end of March possible. And then of course I have much more lessons to film on Elliott waves, on Fibonacci. I just had a run on Fibonacci and on patterns such as, for example, I told you have a harmonic. This, this. So I have a bit more lessons to film, but of course the most important lessons, because this is the way that I trade, will be the balances, which will be out in. Okay. How much risk per trade? Well, usually we talk just spot wise, not account wise. I usually look for less than 1%, which is why, for example, of course, since I was very confident on this being the high, I didn't short this because it's 1.5%. It's usually above my risk. Of course, I can lower my leverage, but personally, I like to risk below 1% and then profit more than 4%. So, for example, in this trade at $80,000, you would take the long right here, which I did. I think I entered 87, and then you can see I mean, it wasn't on this low, but still you can see it's exactly 1% pretty much. And then I wanted to make over 4%, which was my first target, $80, which is above 4%. So these are the trades that I look for. In this case, I don't need to be trading every day to freaking chase every move. I just need to catch one nice trade per week, and this can turn into a winner. That's what helps me stay patient always. That's why you never see me. I just wait um for these high probability trades. Tight stop losses, big profits. That's what you have to do if you want. This imbalance course, you're releasing it on your YouTube? No, Sony, it's on our website. So cryptal.com. If you just type cryptal on Google and you open our website, you have our courses there. I can show you quickly right there. These are our courses, horizontal levels. This is where I dive into the imbalances. We have a demo trading platform as well. I personally still use it sometimes to test new strategies, maybe higher risk trades. And honestly, I think that every single person should demo trade no matter how profitable or unprofitable you are. That's why personally. And of course, we have our courses, much more to come, much more courses to come. And the good thing about our courses is that it's a one-time payment, so it doesn't matter when you pay. We don't need a monthly payment. These are just courses. It doesn't make sense to have a monthly payment, but you pay once and you have access to these courses for life, including the demo trading platform. How do you place your stop loss? I explained this in my last YouTube update, Jean-Pierre. how do I place my stop loss? Personally, and this is for more advanced traders, if you're a newer trader or even intermediate, I heavily suggest you don't do this because you'll end up losing a lot of money. I use soft stop losses, meaning so when I opened that long right there last week, somewhere over there, I mean, you can look at my entry actually, where was it? That's the altcoins, Bitcoin, that was short, and the long. So where did I enter? 82. So yeah, pretty much inside of this candle. So what I do is I simply wait for the market to show me its hand. So for example, if we gotta continue down, I don't have a hard stop loss. I just wait and see, do I see something that I don't like on this job? If I do, I just close out of my trade. And this is why usually I look at the downside and I'm like, if it drops 1%, can I still be in this trade? Yes, I can, because it's acceptable to get a drop and a quick reversal, for example, as we got here. So that's personally how I do it. I open the trade. I don't have a hard stop loss. I have a mental stop loss basically. And if the market does move in my direction, in this case, I should have waited more. But if the market moves in my direction, I then place my stop loss, for example, below this low right there, because of course, if it does lose, so probably it will go back down. So you take profit and then you place a hard stop loss. But personally, I open a trade, I see what happens, and then I decide if I want to close my trade or not. Because the problem, and that's what happened to me, which is the only time I used a hard stop loss in I don't know how many months. But after I saw this bounce, I placed a hard stop loss. I got stopped out, and guess what? We had a wick. So if I had a soft stop loss and I see this wick, there's no point for me to close my position. We just have a wick. That's a bullish reaction. But if we had a candle close, for example, and then the next candle continued on pushing lower, then probably I would have closed my trade somewhere down here, so somewhere around $81,000. And that's personally how I trade. Again, if you're a new trader, that's very risky because you will not know how to see if the market pretty much invalidated your setup. But personally, as I've been doing for a while, I have my indicator. I know exactly what I need to see. Bit of a bounce on Bitcoin. Interesting opinion. If you do get a bounce, good. I can get a short next. What would you like to have known earlier when you started trading? Definitely, by far, my biggest mistake as a trader, as a beginner, is not remaining patient. Because every single time that I waited for a setup, and for example, my level got front run, or maybe I was too impatient to wait for my level, every single time I took trades while waiting for this to happen, I took freaking 20 losses, and then finally, when price hit my level, I had lost so much money. I was so unconfident in taking another trade. I would take such a small position and get a tiny win. So basically what I'm saying is just staying as patient as you can, because what you learn over and over again is that every single time you wait for a setup, you wait for a trade, it will always come, okay? Even when you see, for example, that massive drop, I can tell you how many people wanted to short this and were like, oh my god, that's the start of a bear market. And then they shorted the lows because like, okay, I'm left on the sideline and price will not bounce anymore. Guess what? Got a huge bounce, and this is in a short. And if you remember, I shorted this right there. You had the value area high. So what I'm saying again is just the art of remaining patient. It's a skill, but it's also an art, because you have to learn to look at the charts and to say, for example, in this case, I have a level at $90,000. I will wait for it. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But what I've learned over the years is that always the new setup will come. The short setup will come, the long setup will come, and all I have to do is just wait for the signals to align. Definitely the most important lesson that I've learned as a trader, not being patient enough. Okay, I hope this answer was clear. I rambled on and on about patience, but yeah, just remain patient for your levels. I see so many people not pick a specific strategy and just start flopping in and out of trades because they don't really know what they're looking for. One day they use Fibonacci, one day they use Elliott waves, one day they use order blocks. Just never, it's never clear what they're trading. And when you see this, this is when you know that this trader has a bit more. How would you trade without the use of your indicator? By using volume. Add volume on your chart and start to look at high volume candles. At first, what I would do is just mark out the highest volume candles, and every time you see a volume spike, you can see right there, this was the high, you have a massive volume spike at the high. Mark this on your chart and see what happens next. Because personally, I did not develop this indicator in one day. I first started by using volume. I even put the volume MA on. If you open here, you have the moving average. I tested many different stuff, and that's how in the end I just knew what to look for on volume, and that's how I created my indicator. But at first, I didn't have this. I didn't have colored candles. I just had pure red and green candles. If I had this, my chart just looked like this, and all I did was look at volume, and then with time, I started to know exactly what to look for. I created different indicators, and in the end, this one was my most accurate one, which is why I went with it. But what I would do is look at volume, definitely. And if you don't really want to look at volume, what you can do is look at highs and lows and look at volume profiles. So in this case, look, you have a drop, you have a range, you take this low, and what do you have? You have a failed auction below the low. So very simply, by looking at highs and lows, what do? You see the wicks and you take a long position. This is a very easy strategy. It doesn't happen as often as it used to in the past on Bitcoin. So that's why I love my strategy, because it always happens. But yeah, my own recommendation would be volume. Very easily, it would be volume and open interest, of course. I really like to look. How would you have to become even more patient? Yeah. You'll see just and look, if you're impatient, I would suggest, even if you don't have access to this demo trading platform, just go and demo trade. Find something else to do on the charts that will improve your trading. Okay, so just open another demo account on any platform, start to trade, test different indicators, and you will see that when you start testing, an hour goes by, 2 hours go by, 5 hours goes by, and then you have a certain alert on your chart. You will see it goes off. You stayed patient, you did something productive on the side, and then all you have to do is press the buy or sell button. You stayed patient, you did something on the side, and then you have a very easy trade. You don't need to be scared because, well, I'm guessing that you will not be opening 10 trades a day if you're not a scalper, of course. But overall, that's what I would suggest, to practice patience. Just do something else. Hopefully it's something productive. Of course, you don't want to be doing something pretty useless. But yeah, that's personally what I still do to this day. I just do something else. Okay. So if you don't have any more questions, again, if you have more questions, just send them in the live chat. I will be more than happy to help. But it doesn't seem like you guys have more questions. Let's look at what Ethereum is doing very clear. We pretty much have a double bottom on Ethereum. We'll take out this low at some point, even if we get the bounce. So that would be nice on if we get a bounce first and then we can look for a short. I don't think it will happen. I just think that this is a small bounce before we get a bigger drop. But if we get the bounce first, again, next week, focus on short positions. Okay? If we get the bounces. You don't want to be shorting downtrend. Look what happened at everyone who shorted this candle. They got stopped. I'm out of questions. Okay. Well, in any case, I guess you're the only one who had questions. I mean, you did have Sunny as well. So with that said, I guess I don't need to recap what I'm looking for next. Just be aware of the fact, did this turn into an imbalance, by the way? Did not, so we don't have an imbalance yet, but this is nice to see. If this candle closes near the open, then we could get the fill of the imbalances now. 85 point. Okay guys, so 80,000 to the downside, 85.9 to the upside, and then 89 to $90,000. Okay, one level below, two levels above. High time frame, I'm pretty bearish. Higher time frame, except if you get the reclaim of $100,000. But overall, you should expect lower prices. This is why next week, as I've been saying, probably you want to focus on short positions. So with all of that said, as usual, I hope that you guys enjoyed this live stream, and I will see you in the next YouTube update. And of course, if you want to join our Discord, this is where I send my trades, right? My levels right there. You can see my levels, 82,000. This was also shared on YouTube, by the way, I know. But if you want to join our Discord, I even shared this short. Was it? Yeah, right there. I had taken the short. So if you want to join our Discord, it's growing every day, and I will intend to keep my levels as accurate as they are. I mean, you can even see very quickly, gave you $89,000 as a potential support last update, and guess what happened? We dropped to $89,000. I mean, if I show you on the chart at least, last ramble. If I go on the 1 hour, I told you in my last update to look for this wick as a first support, and guess what happened? We dropped into it and we got a bounce of, I think, over 2%. Yeah, over 2%. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done talking about my levels, but as usual, I will try to keep my levels as accurate as possible, as we've been doing for the past, I would say for the past year at this point. But I hope that you guys are making money using my levels. And if you haven't, your time will come. All you have to do is, as I said just a bit earlier, practice patience. Every single trade will come to you. All you have to do is wait. With that said, I will see you in the next one. Okay guys, goodbye.